The Journey to the Great Oz. Introduction. The Wizard Oz is the well-known fantasy of children's literature. It tells us the story of Dorothy, who is whisked with her dog Toto by cyclone to the wonderful land of Oz. There she meets Tin Woodman, who needs a heart, the Scarecrow, who needs brains, and the Cowardly Lion, who needs bravery. They all want to see the Wizard of Oz, the only person who can help them. This lesson is part of their journey to the Emerald City of Oz, where the wizard lives. The Wizard of Oz was written by Layman Frank Baum, 1856 to 1919. Explanation. That was an eventful day for the travelers. Dorothy, Toto, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Lion. They were walking for an hour and they came across a great ditch that crossed the road and divided the forest as far as they could see the other side. When they crept and looked into it, they realized that it was very deep. They could see many big, jagged rocks at the bottom. The sides also were very steep that none of them could climb down. When the Scarecrow said that if they jumped over that ditch, they would not reach the other side, the Lion gave a thought and was ready to carry everyone on his back one at a time. Though the Lion also was terribly afraid of falling, he knew that there was no other alternative than to try. Then the Lion gave a great spring. He shot through the air and landed everyone safely one by one. First, the Scarecrow, then Dorothy with her dog, Toto, and at the end, Tin Woodman. All were greatly pleased to see how easily the Lion could do that. But now the Lion was very tired. His great leaps made his breath short and he panted like a big dog. They found that the forest was very thick on the other side. That looked dark and gloomy. After the Lion had rested, they started along the road of yellow brick, silently wondered if they would ever come to the end of the forest and could reach the bright sunshine again. To add to their discomfort, they heard strange noises in the depths of the forest. Then the Lion whispered to them that Kalidash, the monstrous beast with the bodies like bears and heads like tigers, lived in the part of the country. He also added that they had very long and sharp claws. They could easily tear him in two, so he was afraid of them. While walking, they came to another gulf across the road. But that was so broad and deep that the Lion knew that at once he could not leap across it. A very tall tree was standing close to the ditch. Looking at that, the Scarecrow got an idea. He said that if the Tin Woodman could chop the tree, then that tree would fall on the other side and all could walk across easily. The Lion appreciated his brains. Tin Woodman chopped the tree with his sharp axe. Then the Lion pushed that with all his might so that the tree fell down with a crash across the ditch with its top branches on the other side. Just then they heard a sharp growl. They looked up and to their horror, two giant beasts with bodies like bears and heads like tigers were running towards them. The Lion began to tremble to see Kalidash. All of them hurried to cross over. First went Dorothy holding Toto in her arms. Tin Woodman followed and Scarecrow came next. The Lion, though afraid, gave a loud and terrible roar at the beasts. But he realized that they were two and only one of him. He crossed over. Without stopping an instant, the fierce beasts also began to cross the tree. Though the lion accepted that they would surely tear them to pieces with their sharp claws, he was ready to fight to save all his friends from them. But then the scarecrow was thinking what best could be done. He asked Tin Woodman to chop away the end of the tree that was rested on their side. So immediately Tin Woodman began to use his axe at once, and just as the two Kalidas were nearly across, the tree fell with a crash into the gulf, carrying those ugly, snarling brutes with it. Both were dashed to pieces on the sharp rocks at the bottom. The lion drew a long breath. His heart was beating as he was frightened, meaning A. Coward, who lacks courage. B. Ditch, a narrow trench for drainage. C. Crouch, bend the knees and bring the upper body forward and down. D. Monstrous, very large and frightening. E. Anxious, very eager. F. Meadows, a field of grass. Summary: that adventure made them more anxious than ever. Dorothy was tired, so she rode on the lion's back. To their great joy, the trees became thinner, and in the afternoon they suddenly came upon a broad river flowing swiftly just before them. On one side of the water, they could see the road of yellow brick running through a beautiful country with green meadows dotted with bright flowers. All the trees along were hanging with delicious fruits. They were pleased to see the delightful country before them.